So I look like, wait, don't say it. Remember, we're on YouTube. So it's like a 3 minute delay before you can start cursing.
You look like shit.
You're listening to the 8BGCAST with Sterling and Steve. If you like this podcast and other videos and podcasts on our channel, please.
What?
I don't know. I'm just looking at you. Please like and subscribe and follow us, please.
Is it because I looked away?
No, I don't.
What do you...
Nothing. But yes, if you like this and other videos on our channel, please like and subscribe. If you're listening to us on a podcast station, please follow us and like
You
this.
don't put this on podcast. Come on.
It's
Are we
on.
on?
Yeah, we're on like Apple. We're on Apple. We're on
When's
Google.
the last time Apple has you've put a podcast that went up on Apple?
All right, so it hasn't been updated, but it will be there eventually. So
You full of
so
shit.
eventually it'll be there, so you can listen to it there. You know, and
Come
maybe
on,
Amazon.
you gotta give them real, if you say, go listen to us on Apple and we're not, it's a podcast
If
from
I
like
said
3 years ago.
if you're listening to us, people like to listen to old podcasts. Some valuable information in some of them.
But the way they would be listening to this would not be.
Possibly if once you upload it.
I'm gonna look and see what our last podcast was on Apple.
All right. So today we're going to be discussing the Super Mario movie. Sterl and I have both seen it, and we have some of our first look thoughts. So some of the first
First,
reviews.
first look thoughts. Is that what you just see? This is what happens when you don't do this for a while. You just become slothy. Go ahead though.
No,
I won't interrupt anymore.
no, I'm joking. I'm joking. But now, yeah, we're just gonna give reviews on the movie and just kind of discuss it real quick. I can say I, for one, I wasn't anticipating the movie as much. I was interested in it, but I was like, all right, if it comes out, it comes out.
Why is that?
I just feel like based on most movie adaptations, my expectations were very tempered.
But why you were super hyped for Sonic? I don't understand.
I was hyped for Sonic when it came out, when the first after the revised trailer came out. I don't
Right.
think I was hyped for Sonic, like all throughout.
Oh,
Like I
because it
feel like
looked.
it's one of those things where I'll believe it when I see it. Like I'll be more into it when I see it.
I think your energy for Sonic was way,
Wait,
way
wait, wait,
over.
way higher. You think so?
You had to
No,
see it with
no, no,
me.
no, no, no. The first trailer after when they revised his first trailer and
I
his
know,
design,
but
I said, okay, I gotta see this.
right, but you yeah. So, but you were like, yeah, I gotta go see it. Hey, Stella, you want to go to the movies? We gotta go see this. We gotta go see this.
Yeah, because I was hyped for it because the
You wanted to take
commercials.
pictures with the poster board and everything. Like, no, there's.
I
So
was
I'm
hyped.
kind of curious.
Mhm.
Is it the character, or
So,
because I don't understand the
so here's the difference.
difference?
So here's the difference. So before the movie, I saw the trailer of the movie. Right? Let's just everything in general before everything came out. Just hearing the rumors of a Mario movie, I had tempered expectations. I was like, okay, let's see how it's gonna be. I didn't really think much about it. And then when the trailers came out, it piqued my interest a little bit more. I was like, okay, this is look like it's something. It looked gorgeous. I'll say that the movie, just initially off the trailers alone, looked really good. But to see everything all together, it was really a curiosity. The first trailer that came out actually hyped me because when I heard Bowser's voice, Jack Black as Bowser, I think I was sold at that point because his voice for Bowser was just so good. Like I was
Okay,
just like, okay, this is pretty good.
so you were
Um,
sold at that point,
yeah,
but like, okay, the reason I bring this up is because
sure.
your enthusiasm for Sonic was like, oh my god, I gotta go see this in the theaters.
Mhm.
Where when it was Mario, you were kind of like, if I watch it on, whatever, as long as we see it at some point, there's not the same enthusiasm.
I feel like maybe when
I,
I had
I,
Sonic, go
I
ahead.
think you're just a Sonic fanboy, and that's the thing. I feel like you have a thing for Sonic
Nah.
because you're just a Sonic fanboy. That's
Actually,
where you are.
I'm first and foremost a Nintendo fanboy. I initially grew up as a Nintendo fanboy,
Then how could you
and yes,
not be hyped for this movie? Like you
after no
showed way
after
more hype
the
for Sonic.
after the trailer.
Nah, but you still, I think the energy from going wanting to see the Sonic movie
Mhm.
to this movie is you are the kind of person that every Marvel movie you see on the Thursday it comes out. You don't even you see it the day before. So you saw Sonic probably as early as possible, but
Mhm.
Mario you put off weeks.
Oh, I'll say this, not because I wanted to, because just because I just literally didn't have any time. When with Sonic, I had more times on hand, on more time on my hands to go watch it and do whatever. Whereas right now, I don't really have as much time. You know, so that's the only difference.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's the only difference. Trust me, if I had the time to watch Mario on day one, I would have watched it on day one.
All right, all
You
right.
know,
I
so
just,
so it may seem like maybe I'm not as interested in Mario, but
because you
it's
go
really
see
not.
other, like, okay, to be fair, it's like
Mhm.
you saw Ant-Man 3 in the theaters, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I
I
thought you
actually saw
did.
it recently.
I thought you saw it in theaters. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I didn't see it in theaters.
Carry on.
Yeah, what did I see in theaters? I don't remember what was the last thing I saw in theaters.
Okay, so you
Def
haven't been grinding movies out like that. Okay, all right.
yeah. Mhm.
I stand corrected. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay, thank you very much. So anyway, so yeah, after the first trailer, I was sold in this. I was interested in seeing how the movie would, come out, and I after that, I wanted to see it. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I believed in, you know, off the trailers alone, what I saw it to be, maybe a competent movie at best. When I end up seeing it, I was definitely pleasantly surprised, and I was really happy, and I feel like Nintendo definitely has a bright future forward, at least with Mario. And I'll keep it at that for now. So before we go into the reviews, Sterling, what was your uh expectations for the movie, or were you hyped for it?
I knew I was going to go see the movie in theaters at some point.
Hmm.
Just because I felt like it's a Mario movie finally done correctly in terms of Nintendo having more oversight on it. Obviously it's not the first Mario movie.
Oh yeah.
So it, when I kind of like when I heard the first trailer, when I watched the first trailer, Jack Black sounded good. Chris Pratt, Mario, wasn't sure.
Hmm.
Wasn't sold on it, but everything else was fine. So I couldn't. I just had to see it because I didn't want it to be almost. I felt like I had to be in the zeitgeist of it. Like I have to see it so I know of it. So no one's
Hmm.
telling me things and referencing things. Because now you see everywhere, everybody's saying peaches, peaches, peaches. And
Yeah.
like, if I didn't watch the movie, you know, I have to know what that is.
Mhm.
That's part of my reason for watching it.
Mhm. Be part of
So
the Gazelle guys.
yeah, I didn't want to be the one that has not seen it.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I'm a video game fan, so
mhm.
I've seen plenty of video game movies.
Oh,
Have I
definitely.
enough?
Yeah.
I actually saw. Well, I don't think it's a video game, but I saw another nerd movie too. But we'll
Mhm.
save that for another one.
No problem.
It
Yeah.
was
So
good.
for
Dungeons and Dragons, really good.
yeah, I want to see that one. I think it's
Really
on
good.
demand.
Really
I'll
good.
definitely check that out. Oh yeah, but to jump right into the review of Mario movie, I'll say this kind of like
Give it a score.
give it a score. I give out of 5 or 10.
10.
10. I give Mario movie an 8.
Okay.
I think I give it a
Uh,
strong 8. I'll tell you this about Mario movie. I enjoyed it more than I thought I did. I actually laughed more than I thought I would.
mhm,
And I was actually impressed more than I thought I would be. Especially because again, I grew up a gamer. I played Mario since the 8-bit all the way to Odyssey.
ooh, 8
Um,
bit.
hmm?
8-bit.
Yeah,
Badoonch.
8-bit generation, So that,
Oh, no kidding.
yeah, maybe some people don't realize it, like, oh, okay, I got it now. Oh, could you be surprised? But yeah, so I've been a Mario fan for the longest. I've loved Mario as a character. Even the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, I used to watch as a kid. Probably one of the first shows I watched as a kid. And my
Mhm,
mother put me religiously in front of the TV to watch it because I always asked to watch it. You know what I mean? So I'm a huge Mario fan, and all throughout. And I'm just kind of happy, like you said, like you mentioned earlier, that Mario
mhm.
is finally being represented by his original creators and not through like some kind of Hollywood vision of what a movie could do. But they respect the creator's wishes, and it shows, and it's nothing but a respectful, fun ride. Very very simple. Not I'll say this, the good of the movie is number one, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful movie. The animation looks great. The design, everything looks good. Even though you've seen this tons of time in Mario games, it just seeing it in like this new definition, like 4K, like it just looks absolutely amazing. And I'm sure there's one day there'll be a Mario game that looks just like this. It's really good. The voice actors are very good. I think they all make the characters feel real. Like I didn't not once would I hear anybody where I'm like, I don't know, this didn't seem right. Mary Chris what's his name? Chris
I kind of have a couple of
which Chris is this?
gripes.
This is Chris there's so
Pratt.
many Chris Pratt. I'm thinking about MCU. There's so many damn Chris's in that thing.
Uh, he's
Chris
in the MCU too. Yeah, Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm saying. Chris
Chris.
Pratt. I'm trying to go with Chris Pratt. That I have Chris Hemsworth and I have Chris Evans in my head. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So yeah, Chris
Mhm.
Pratt. Um, you know, he does a decent Mario voice, even though it doesn't sound anything spectacular, but I feel he gives Mario enough character, you know, especially with considering that the movie doesn't really have a lot of depth for the characters or doesn't really delve into the characters too much. He gives Mario a sense of likability and a everyman kind of feel that works well with the character. Um, Chris, what's his name? Something Day. I should really remember these guys' names, but the gentleman that plays Luigi's voice.
Um.
Daniel, it's Day. It's something Day. Chris,
Uh.
Daniel Day,
Charlie Day, isn't it?
Charlie Day.
Charlie,
Yeah, it's Charlie Day. Thank you.
something like that.
Yeah, Charlie Day. He does great as Luigi. Even though I feel like he hasn't had as much time to shine in the movie, he he does Luigi very good. So just to kind of give a quick review before we go over the voices. Yeah, the movie was very fun. A lot of the different worlds, a lot of funny gags. Like the thing with Spike in the beginning when he's like, "Is it? Well, isn't it the stupid Mario Brothers?" And he's like, egging them on. It was just done so well. It was really funny. Like it was very short, but it's like the scenes that are these scenes are so
Spike,
well
who's
done.
Spike?
Spike, he was in Wreck-It Crew. Wreck-It,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
know. You trying to
no,
test
I
me?
know. No, I'm
Oh
just,
yeah, yeah.
you might want
Mhm.
to let people know how your knowledge is.
Yeah, I don't think I need to test them for this. It's a movie. It's fine. But
No, we're nerds. Get
so you,
show your
so you want me,
nerdydom.
so you want me to point out every single nerd thing I saw in the movie?
I think, yeah, we should be. That's part of it. I think that's part
Okay.
of the appeal of.
Yeah, I do believe it's part of the appeal, but
I mean, if you're gonna drop that part of it, it's like, come on, you have to say. But okay, go ahead.
yeah, Spike, the guy with Spike was hilarious. And also too, one surprise too, that I found in the movie that was also hilarious as well was the Super Mario Brothers family. I did not expect a scene like that in this movie, and I think that scene was great. Very funny scene, very emotional scene. It's all around. It's just a very good movie. Like a lot, it's just full of adventure and everything. I know it sounds very generic, but it just it was just very it was a good adventure. Very simple, straight to the point. Really no side plots per se. I would say right. There's nothing else going on except for Mario trying to conquer these obstacles so he can save his brother and the kingdom as well. Princess and him is. I think one thing I like about the movie is that you see Mario's relationship with different people. You have a relationship with his brother Luigi, his relationship with Princess Peach, his relationship with Toad, and then Donkey Kong. So Mario branches out with different characters. You kind of see him how he interacts with everybody. So I think that's a nice touch to kind of give him his time to shine with most of the characters, and then Bowser as well. He doesn't really have much with Bowser because there's not really much except for saving his brother and saving the kingdom. Um, but yeah, it's pretty good. And the last fight scene was excellent. Like I love that scene so much. I think that's uh a spectacular, well done scene. So I really liked it. I enjoyed it. And it was really well done. I'd say the only flaw I would say it has is number one, I wasn't crazy about the licensed music. I feel like it was a little bit one too many. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I just feel like it just kind of made it.
It was
more
it was
generic.
it was glaringly bad. That is
Yeah,
illumination at its best right there. That's exactly what that is.
yeah, and I just feel like some of the music choices is just like, at this point,
It was terrible.
like 40,
That's
like, I'm an 80s kid, and also I love 80s music. I'm a big fan of 80s music. I still listen to it to this day. But I'm just like, Take On Me, like, music that's almost 40 years old. Like some of them are timeless, of course, but I just feel like, I don't know, it just took me out of the movie for a bit, because I just feel like the music itself, the music the movie made itself was more whimsical and magical, and I feel like if the licensed tracks take away from the timelessness the movie could have if it just took with its own original music.
right.
I think that, and then Bowser too. I'll say this: Bowser. I like Jack Black as Bowser. I think he's nearly perfect, but I felt like towards the end he became too much more like he became too much like Jack Black, and I didn't feel enough Bowser. I felt like, you know, it was just more of him, especially with the whole Peaches thing. It just sounded like Jack Black just riffing, which
Well,
is,
that
I
was
know,
that. Yeah,
I
that
know, but I just
purely
felt
was
like
that.
it took me out of it a little bit, because when he's in the low register and he's in character in the beginning, it just is really good. Even when he's pining for Peach and he gets interrupted in his music, but with that song, it just becomes too much like Jack Black, and it takes me out a little bit. It doesn't distract from the movie, but it's just something that I like to know. And after that, yeah, I think musical choices and kind of simplistic story is pretty much what it is. Your thoughts?
Oh, my turn. I can go.
No,
Okay.
actually, I have one more thing to say. So,
Okay.
no, go ahead.
Um. So when I first saw the movie, I was like gushing 8.5 out of 10. Then I saw it again in theaters,
Hmm.
and I was still kind of at that point. I was like, kind of knew what happened, so I was just kind of paying attention to other things and looking at things. Maybe you could see things that didn't make sense. I was maybe second time seeing, I was gonna nitpick it a little because I didn't actually want to see it, but I had to. So, um, and then and then I told you I'd seen another movie, and it made me kind of reevaluate.
Yes,
Uh,
Coco.
yeah, it just made me reevaluate animated movies and what they could be or
Hmm.
what they're trying to do. So this movie is just trying to be a Mario movie, and it does
Hmm.
perfectly well at that. Because Mario in general in any game he's in is simple. And so this movie is a very simple movie.
Hmm.
And I kind of think that's all it needed to be, and it did that well.
Hmm.
Um, it was short. Well, it's like 90 minutes. It's like
Yeah,
very
which I like.
short.
I like that. I think we
Yeah.
need more short movies. I don't need
Yeah.
two. I
I,
don't. Not every movie needs to be 2.5 hours.
yeah. I'm so glad it's short. Usually animated movies don't get that long anyway, but
Hmm.
this was refreshing. Um, but part of that too was I felt like they just kind of got to point A to point B, like just it was very jumpy. They were like here and then they're here and then they're here, then they're at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like we just need these set pieces to happen.
Hmm.
Um, the obstacle course, then they're in Donkey Kong Land, then they're on Rainbow Road, and then I get it's a journey there, but it almost didn't feel
Earned.
there was a lot of scenes where it would cut and then they were just in the next place, where it felt like some of the adventure was just kind of not there. That could have been the traveling part. I just
Yeah.
felt like they kind of just got to where they need to go really quickly. Um,
Yeah. I felt
so
I felt that too. Hmm.
yeah, so voice acting. Uh, I think Princess Peach was fine. I
Hmm.
think Bowser was great. I think Luigi was good. I thought Luigi was really good.
Hmm.
Charlie Day. Uh, Chris Pine, not Chris Pine.
You got
Sorry,
too many Chris's. I'm telling
that
you.
Chris Pine was in there. The Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. No, this
Mhm.
Chris Pratt, was the weakest. I would say he's the weakest, and I would say Donkey Kong wasn't much better. Only in terms of I could hear Seth Rogen all over
Oh
Donkey
yeah, that's
Kong.
true. Donkey Kong he was like, "Hey, Dad, it's me.
You
Come on."
know, and it's like you're stupid, and it just sounds like Seth Rogen,
Mhm.
right? When I look at Donkey Kong, I don't, not that Donkey Kong ever had a personality like he was in
Well,
the
you
movie,
would think, you imagine him sounding gruffer, like a little like
or
roughness.
or even a little more relaxed. He was too he was so childish that I was kind of like, every time Mario says something, he's like, "Oh, you're stupid. You suck at everything. Why
Mhm.
would someone?" He was so, and I was like, "Oh, if there's one kind of unlikable
Mhm.
character, it was that." I thought we talk about voice acting. I thought the Charles Martinet cameo was pretty cute.
Oh yeah, he had two
Uh,
cameos, so a couple of cameos. He had
yeah.
Jumpman, the gentleman playing Jumpman in the beginning
Yeah,
of the movie, as well as Mario's father, which I thought he
right.
did a great job. It sounded really good. I didn't realize it was him until
I didn't
the
realize you
movie.
just told me that. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, I also liked, but I do like how in the beginning they played with the accent, which kind of it makes it fine. Like, okay, this
Yeah.
is why they don't really speak like that because
Hmm.
and I thought what they did was they definitely s- created a good ground floor for future Nintendo movies. Peach says there's a lot of universes out there for a reason.
Galaxies.
Yeah, galaxies out there or whatever, right? He
Yeah.
said that for a reason. They're gonna bring the other worlds, other things can happen. They
Hmm.
leaving that open. Great. I just feel, like you have to be. To me, you got to be a Nintendo fan to get the most out of this movie. If you're not, or a kid or a Nintendo
Yeah.
fan. If
Hmm.
you're not, it's not. It's not a great movie in terms of like Mario. Like you said, there was a lot of shallowness. There wasn't really a lot of depth to him. His biggest character thing was he never gives up,
Hmm.
right? Like he just gets beat up, and yeah, it's funny, and then he never gives up. Um, so the one time that I actually felt something was when they gave Luigi something to do
Hmm.
because Luigi the whole time was kind of playing that scared, like he is. Luigi's that brother, but when he, at the end when he did the thing
Yeah. He
to
saved
block,
Mario.
yeah, I said, oh, that's like that was a moment, and then they got to do something together.
Yeah.
So I
Finally.
think I think that was the probably the weakest part of the movie was the fact that not that you knew it was going to be a Mario focused movie anyway,
But
but like
Super
you,
Mario Brothers,
but
you expect
yeah,
more of the brothers to be on an adventure together. And that's what
kinda, I guess
yeah,
so.
I honestly that's one I forgot I mentioned this to you before, but I forgot to mention it when I was kind of going over the movie. I wish there was more Mario and Luigi before they got separated. Because
Yeah,
I really like their dynamics as brother, and being that the movie is so, shallow in characterization, having that relationship there would have been great in the beginning before they got separated because that
yeah.
was really fun.
I think the they had the makings for some deeper stuff with the characters because I don't care if it's Nintendo and Mario's not supposed to be deep. You can still make something a little bit better than just make it okay.
Yeah.
So like to me it was like yeah, Mario kind of being a disappointment and all this other stuff in the beginning
Mhm.
was kind of cool. Kind of it was relatable. It was this, you don't quit a job to do this,
Yeah.
things that people really deal with.
That family scene really helped flesh out a lot of that story or their world of how people view Mario. And that's why I really love that scene because not only was it funny with the family, the different characters who look like Mario talking and the Italian accent. I
Hmm.
mean, that was a really well done scene. I really I liken it to the Nutty Professor family scene, almost because it was just very unexpected. And then you got like,
Well,
even though it was
yeah,
very
when I saw
brief,
all of them, I was kind of like, my only thing was like, I was like, who are all these people? I want
yeah.
to know who each one of these family members are.
I had to go into wiki because I'm like, were they in the game before? Were they here before?
And
But
then
yeah,
when watching it like the second time, they were all like, when they started criticizing Mario about whatever, I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. There's 10 of y'all living in one place. So all y'all are not working or something like that. So whoever's getting on him about that, half of y'all ain't working. I know that because
and it
y'all
was
all living in one little Brooklyn apartment.
and I mean, definitely, I think that is definitely a modern day story because I'm pretty sure with the way rents are everything is like
Yeah, I
so
guess
expensive,
so. They
you
probably
know.
all have to work together just to keep that one floor
Exactly.
apartment. Um, so yeah, the action scenes were good. There was so like I said, there was so many throwbacks to Mario things, just themes that were playing at certain
Mhm.
times. Like you said, the I don't understand why they needed to bring licensed music.
Yeah, I feel like that was the
Illumination.
only meddling that I could tell in the movie is just the music. It's
There,
just so grating.
from what I read too, Nintendo stepped in and stopped some other plot points that I guess Illuminations was trying to go for or whatever.
Do
Um,
you care to share?
I see. I don't want to say it 100% because I don't know if it's true, but
That's rumors.
I
Let's
could
just say
see,
allegedly.
I could see where they stepped in. So
Mhm.
part of it is they wanted to make Princess Peach, uh,
Girl boss.
more, huh?
Girl boss.
Yeah, they wanted to make her. That's another weakness of the movie, I think, too. Actually, but I'll get into that.
Mhm.
They wanted to make her much more. of like,
Hero.
yeah, I guess. And Nintendo was like, nah, that's not her role. Like,
Thank
I
you.
think they came in and said, nah, not that she has to be kidnapped, but she's not gonna be like Mario, but better.
Yeah,
But
like come on, like uh
and you know
remember that's what we discussed before. That when we first saw the trailer, we got those vibes from the trailer because of course, everything was like not in context. But when we saw her with the outfit and the halberd weapon,
when they
I
first
was like,
showed one of her pictures, the first thing, and I know it's like advertisement. Yes.
I was
I
like,
saw that and I said, "Oh, oh, she's got her arms crossed. She's the tough guy." So that was the whole thing, right? And then, which is like, I get how this whole thing about why they don't do women character right, but that's a whole nother
yeah,
thing.
I think sometimes, and not to go off on a tangent too much, but I feel like sometimes they go too far off to one direction that they don't balance it out. So this character is just like, you know,
If you,
so yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you make a woman character doing the exact same thing as a male character but better, it does not make it a strong woman character.
Hmm.
That just, you know what I mean? That, but that's what they seem to think it is.
Yeah,
Like, we'll just throw a lady in, we'll make her beat up all the guys.
and make it
Therefore,
cool.
strong woman character. She's cooler. She's badass. No,
It's not
you're literally
realistic.
just taking a man character, making it a woman, and just saying that's better because there's no depth to it. But
Yeah,
anyway, there's a whole nother discussion.
it's shallow. I definitely feel you're saying. I know we don't want
Yeah.
to derail a podcast too much into it,
So,
but I'm glad that didn't happen.
but it's part of that whole, she did the thing in her first try, and they're like, how do you do that in your first try? That obstacle course
I
that
mean,
Mario couldn't.
I think when she asked him, like, how did you do that? It seemed like she's practiced before, and
She
and
says she grew up there, but she said, he said, did you get it on your first try? And she's like, no, but she's lying, right? She said, well, I did.
mhm,
Uh, how? Because you're
yeah,
just that good. And it's like, she did it. Mario didn't even complete it, but she was like, all right, I guess you're ready to go.
mhm,
And but she was just able to do it like just
mhm,
instantly, and like, and then throughout the whole movie, right, she like is basically untouchable. She gets the ice power, she kicks everybody's ass at the end,
mhm,
she could do everything. It's just like the only thing that stopped her was you had to hold the toad hostage,
mhm,
and then don't hurt my toads or whatever.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I see
that
what
was
you mean.
my problem. Not, and her as like the character was fine for the most part.
Mhm,
uh just those couple of scenes where it was like, she was better than everybody. I kind of like towards the end when Mario came into his own.
mhm,
Especially at the end, like you said, they got all. I wasn't that big of a fan of when he got the Power Star, but everything up to that point before then, I thought
mhm,
was really cool. Like the flying, chasing the bullet bills,
mhm,
weaving, him and Donkey Kong working together, all that
mhm.
stuff was like really cool. Just that, I guess when they got the Power Star, which plot reasons, there's
Can I
some.
talk before you
Yeah, go
explain it
ahead.
real quick? Was I the only one who thought that that was a Mario 64 star and not the Power Star? I don't know. Maybe I got confused in the beginning. To me, it looked like just the regular Mario 64 star. So I don't know. In my head, I was surprised when they gave them the invincibility because I wasn't expecting that.
I kind of was expecting that, but what I didn't expect was I didn't understand the Power Star at all in terms
Mm,
of the MacGuffin of the movie, because that's what it is, right? It was
yeah.
just a thing in the movie. Because what I didn't understand is, you know, Bowser said, with this we were like unstoppable, we'll
Mhm,
take over the world, and I'm like so confused because it's like, is it a one-time use item and then you're just invincible for a little while, like the
mhm,
game? My brain
yeah.
is going to the game. Is it some kind of infinite source?
Mhm,
Why didn't the Penguins use it maybe to beat Bowser?
yeah.
There's
Why
a
are they
lot of,
holding it? Yeah.
why the Penguins have it?
Are there more Power Stars? Yeah.
There's probably more, right? But like, they
They don't
have
explain it.
one.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like what,
And you don't really see like Bowser conquering other things. You just hear it or assume that he's done that, but
and
you
then
don't
why
really
didn't
see.
he didn't, at the end of the movie they had to get it away from him. He blocked Mario from getting it. Uh, and then he like went. Then because Mario was going for it, and then
And
he
he
like
used
kind of blocks
fire.
him to get it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then they start fighting and stuff. And it's like, why didn't Bowser just use the Power Star there? I'm
Mhm.
so confused.
Yeah.
And
I
then
guess they didn't explain it too well.
but then they get it, and then they do the Mario stuff, and it's cool. And
Hmm.
I like all the little references, seeing Mario run certain different ways, like he would in the game, in
Hmm.
different games, depends on
Yeah.
the game. His arms out and he's running
Oh
like
yeah, when
that.
he's
It's
done
pretty
like this,
cool.
yeah, that was really good. I was like,
That's the thing. Like as a gamer, it's like, oh my god, you can't help but love
mhm,
that part. Like it shows so much respect. Some of the theme musics, the whole Donkey Kong thing,
mhm.
some of the references that I thought would have been a little cooler if they weren't so overt. Like, hey, that's you, Diddy Kong, and they're like, oh shit, there goes
Yeah,
Diddy Kong.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, that's clear. It would have been
yeah.
nice,
If
maybe
you
you
just said,
keep,
"Hey, you pipe down over there," it's like you
and
got it.
maybe you see like, is that Diddy Kong? No,
Hmm.
they just blatantly threw that out there.
That's you, Diddy.
Uh,
You know,
uh,
and you know what I did like though? There are a lot of platforming scenes in the movie, like that scene in the beginning of the movie when they went to before they did their first job as
yeah.
Mario Brothers company, when they're doing that platforming sequence where Mario's jumping in that what is that called? That construction site. I thought that was really well
Yeah.
done.
Oh,
I'm
when he was
like,
in the beginning.
yeah,
Yeah,
he opens
yeah.
the door for Luigi, and Luigi's trying to catch up with him. Mario's jumping around. Because I feel like in a way it shows Mario has always been able to platform and do
Okay.
that kind of stuff. Even though when he did it with Princess Peach, he seemed like he couldn't do it.
Right.
Which I thought that was kind of odd because I'm like, well, you clearly show you can do that stuff because you're jumping around, on the scaffolding, running, and all that kind of stuff. And you did the fake castle flag drop and everything.
Right.
Which I didn't know if you noticed before that castle burger was shaped like one of the castles in the 8-bit games.
I'd
When
have
they
to I'd have to go recheck. I
yeah.
mean,
I
you
noticed it on my
know,
second watch because I looked at it was when I noticed I remember the flag when you dropped on the flag. That's obvious, but I didn't realize that the thing right next to it, which was shaped like a castle, was called Castle Burger or something like that,
uh
and it was shaped like one of the castles from the NES games. So I was like,
I
oh,
all
that's
the
pretty
little
good.
references like at the end he was in that
Hmm.
bar. It was like Punch Out. I saw like Doc
Punch Out
Lewis on the
Pizza.
wall.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that
I
was
was
like
like,
was
oh,
that? I thought that was Mike Tyson in the beginning. I'm like, how
nah,
did they get Mike
no, it
Tyson
wouldn't be
picture there?
Mike Tyson. It would be Doc Lewis, that's for
I mean,
sure.
it's 8-bit pictures. Couldn't it should
It would be Mr. Dream, if anything. It wouldn't be Mike Tyson.
yeah.
So, what'd you think of the Mario Kart section?
um, I felt, you know what it is? It- sorry. You had my Amazon?
I hear something. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. So I thought of it. I thought it was kind of cool. I like the references to the Mario Kart 8 game when you're selecting your car and everything like that. But I felt like I didn't need it in this movie. I don't know
You
why.
felt like
Even
it was thrown in,
it
right?
was
It
thrown in.
felt
It
like
felt forced. I felt like Mario Kart already. Like I felt like that's more of something that I would see in the sequel. If you want to
nor
reference,
did he have to like you have no hint of him being able to drive very well. They just knew how to.
yeah, it just felt weird. I mean, it was a nice sequence. Don't get me wrong. I love the sequence, but I just felt like I wish it focused more on like the Mario aspect of it than Mario Kart. You know what I mean? It's like having a tennis scene. Like, of course, Mario plays tennis, but when we watch his first movie, do you want to see Mario playing tennis or playing golf?
Mm.
Like as one of the big set pieces, or do you want to see him focus on the platforming? I feel like, that's something that I probably would see in like maybe like a sequel or the last movie, just as a reference to his other games. I just felt it was kind of forced and kind of unneeded because it makes it seem like the kart racing is a Donkey Kong kind of thing, where
It
is it
needed yeah. Uh
because all the only people who were racing were the Kongs, right? That was it. It was the Kongs racing
the
and the
Kongs
carts,
and then the carts and then the Koopa Troopers and stuff
Koopa
like that.
Troopers. Yeah. So I felt like it was just like it just felt
I mean, that's pretty much all who races in the game if you think about it. It's either
that's
Mario,
true.
Luigi, Princess, Toad,
You
Koopa
know what?
Troopers,
Yeah, you're
Donkey
actually right.
Kong. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I
that's
stand
really kind of
corrected.
it. I mean, the later Mario Karts is everybody else, but
Yeah,
it's really
but
they
I
pretty
just felt
much
like
had everybody but Bowser racing there.
yeah, I just felt like that scene was like it was okay. It was a nice scene, but it was like, oh, it was all right. I
I
felt indifferent to it.
I particularly okay. I got really like giddy when I heard the Rainbow Road theme play
Hmm.
when he like landed on it, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" And
Hmm.
so obviously that was it. And then I didn't expect the blue shell thing to happen, which I thought was kind of
Blue
funny.
shell.
I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, "Oh God!" I know you wouldn't really know because you're not that good in Mario Kart, but
What?
someone like me who's always ahead of you, that
Oh,
always
yeah,
gets
okay,
hit by the
okay.
blue
Don't say that.
shells.
Listen, we'll play it. Don't worry, dude. Don't worry.
That really was that was cool. It was really that was like for the gamers. The people are not gonna think about it.
But
Let's just throw the Mario Kart in there.
you know what's funny though? I was listening to a reviewer talk about the Mario Brothers movie, and this reviewer in particular doesn't play video games at all. So she was like, she gave the movie a bad score
Yeah,
but I
I
think a lot
wouldn't
of
be
it
surprised.
for her, she said that she didn't really understand a lot of the references because she doesn't play the games. Like she's like, this guy, comes out the wreckage and yells "blue shell." I don't know what that means. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah,
I don't want to say the movie has limited appeal, but some aspects of the movie are limited if you're not familiar with the games. So
yeah.
certain
I mean,
references, when they say something, you just it just kind of will fly over your head. You know what I mean?
it's
And
it's, it's kind of like you have to take it like there's two ways to view a movie. Some movies are
Mhm,
made for people that they know are going to see it, like a Fast and Furious movie, who are not going to
mhm,
think about what they see.
yeah,
Mario's like that. Video game movies, you're not making it for the average human being that can go
mhm,
see a movie and then, which is like something like a Coco.
mhm,
Anybody can go see that and get the maximum value out of it.
mhm,
Whereas Mario, you have to be a Nintendo fan to get
mhm.
the maximum value out of it. And
Or
that's
like you said, a kid. I feel like as a kid,
but I think you have to be
you
a kid.
you won't
Even
nitpick.
like
Like if you're a kid, you won't. I mean, I'm just imagining being like 5 years old and not knowing. Let's say I don't know anything about Mario. I'm not going to like nitpick at stuff like Blue Shell and things like that. If it's fun to look at and it has a good story and the characters are good, then I think it would be enjoyable. Like I think I think the the performances are well realized, fun.
Mhm.
Even Toad, like even though Toad isn't like that has that big part of a movie,
He was
but
good.
Michael Key definitely gave him some like attitude and some spunk, and it was well done, in terms of just like being fun and being part of the world. So I think as a kid, I think I could imagine as a kid, I probably would love this movie as a kid. You know what I mean?
Um, I feel like I would have to have the Mario. Like I wouldn't have to play all the Marios, but I'd have
Mhm.
to know Mario as a character, even as a kid. I feel like to enjoy it a little bit. I think,
I
but
mean, and
that's just
the
me.
movie had aspects of it where we could have got to know Mario a little bit more, and that's kind of what I'm going back to in terms of feeling that the movie's shallow because it
Oh,
touches
it's very shallow. It
it touches
expects you
upon
to
things
know,
very little, but it doesn't move forward with it. Like, for example, the first
and
one
it
was Mario meeting Spike being his boss, and Spike is like making fun of them. We don't know these characters at all. And I think he was just kind of there for exposition to kind of say that they're running their own business. But it would be
yeah.
nice to kind of get some more, with that, you
But I
know.
guess that also is part of the whole thing. It's like who to most people who the hell is Spike, but like if you're a true Mario person, you'll know. So you'll start. You can. To me, it's like if you play the games enough, you'll put the story together in your own head. You'll
But
be
I don't
like,
think you
okay,
need
I
to know
guess
who Spike.
Mario.
I don't think you need to know who Spike is to enjoy that. Yeah,
No, no, but it means more to the
Of
fan
course, it
who.
means more, but
Right.
his
So,
character was there to give exposition and show, to tell the audience what they're doing.
but
Like
it was
they used to work for him. Now they want to go on his own, and he was
right.
like teasing
But
them
when
miraculously, and also too to kind of show that Mario, like people like to push Mario around, like the Mario Brothers around, like they get pushed around.
right, but I think it's not like they chose obviously that specific character for a reason.
Hmm.
It builds into one of Mario's first outings. It's that connection that it's
Yeah.
building.
Hmm.
It's not they didn't choose to start with Donkey Kong kidnapping the princess and start there. They started, almost with a very obscure character,
Hmm.
Foreman Spike, and or who in Japan I think he was called Blackie or something.
Like,
They had to change that. But you know what I mean? But I just think that it it really I think the movie they knew going in it's gonna rely on you knowing the Mario Brothers properties,
yeah. Hmm.
everything in it.
I
And the
think most
more you
people
know it,
know.
the more you're gonna get out of it. If you're not
Hmm.
a big Mario fan, you're not gonna really like this movie. You're just not. That's the other thing. It's not it's if you're not into that stuff at all, I don't
Hmm.
think it's gonna make you necessarily. It might make some kids maybe want to play Mario Kart or something that
Hmm.
maybe not. But as a it is made for kids at the end of the day too. But it doesn't quite do, you know, it doesn't do more than what it set out to do, and that's
Hmm.
fine. You
You,
know,
you know something? You bring up a really good point because I just thought about it. Like, you know how we felt like the Mario Kart scene was kind of forced.
yeah.
I feel like they added it because one of
They
the
want
top
to
selling
sell some
games,
games.
one of the top selling
Yes.
games is Mario Kart 8.
And
You
we
know,
wanted to sell more.
of course, so it's like, being that it's a popular game, they're probably like, yo, let's put this in because
Yeah.
it's selling gangbusters right now. So we might
I
as well
mean,
continue selling.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we're talking about this movie. May you know? and it made like $1 billion,
Yeah, it's
right?
like what I think it beat what movie did it beat? It beat a 3D movie. The Incredibles 2 today it just beat its
Yeah.
record
So
for
do you
highest grossing
think
movie.
Yeah, so is Nintendo like, okay, we set out to do our artistic vision, we're done? No, we're gonna get Mario movies. As long as they
Yeah.
keep raking in, we're gonna get a Mario. We're gonna get maybe a
I honestly
Metroid
expect a
movie,
good four Barry movies
a
or something
Zelda
like that.
movie.
So yes,
Yeah,
that's the one thing about the Galaxy. So yes, I do predict eventually this may lead to a Smash universe, but they're not saying anything now.
everybody's hoping it.
But
Everybody's hoping
I
for it.
think because I feel like that scene with Donkey Kong versus Mario was really reminiscent of a Smash game. Like they're on both sides, they're fighting each
Yeah,
other, they're platforming. Like to me, that was very reminiscent of Smash Bros. I feel like that was kind of like a almost like
it's
a
clearly the inspiration for it. The
yeah.
cheering and the crowd. Yes, it was.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was just like, "Yo, this feels like Smash Brothers. This is really." I feel like that's what they're gonna go for. They're gonna probably do a Zelda movie in 3D. So I guess we can expect the future Mario or future Nintendo movies to be 3D.
Well, maybe. I just know we can expect them to be coming
Mhm.
more so than anything, right?
So now let me ask the question because here's the thing. So one thing I like about this movie, and even though it is shallow, it does feel like it's a movie that Nintendo made, and not again compared to the Super Mario Brothers movie in the 1990s where it just felt like
Great movie,
Hollywood
by the
made
way.
it.
But go ahead.
Hmm?
Great movie, by the way. Go ahead.
It's debatable. But it's so like for example, even though I like the Sonic movies, you can tell there's a lot of like corporate things going on with that movie. Like Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik. He's putting his own spin as Dr. Robotnik, but everyone knows that Jim Carrey is one of the most famous actors. So he's gonna sell the movie, especially to adults who are gonna bring their kids. They're gonna be happy with his performance of being Jim Carrey or whatever like that. And also too, Sonic 2, for example. There is even though it was a great movie and I enjoyed it, there were some scenes where I was like, I felt like some executive or some writer had their own movie there and they snuck in 15 minutes into the movie. You remember that scene where
I
in
didn't see
Sonic
Sonic
2?
2, so I
Oh,
don't.
okay, okay. I'm
Still
not gonna
didn't see
spoil it
it.
for you. But there's a
I
scene I
mean, I
said,
don't care unless you want me to
no, no,
watch
I'm
it.
not gonna spoil it for you, but there's a good 15
I'm
minutes
gonna watch it. Go ahead.
there's a good 15 minutes where you don't see Sonic and all the 3D characters, and it just focuses on the wedding part of the movie. And I was just
Uh,
like, what the hell
well,
is going on?
I actually think, without seeing the movie, I think that has to do more with the way the movie's made because,
Budget?
I just feel like not budget, but I feel like the choice of using real actors and stuff,
Yeah, you have to
as
use them
opposed
more.
to yeah, as opposed to which I always thought was kind of a weird choice for a Sonic movie, but
Mhm.
I get, but it is what it is. Like in terms of style, I like how the Mario movie is as a movie as opposed to
Because
the
they could just
Sonic
focus on the
movie.
characters in the world,
And
whereas
being
Sonic has
like
to
more
share time.
game references and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Sonic in kind of the fish out of water thing, which was it worked. The Sonic, I think the original
But that's
Sonic
like
movie's
such an
okay.
old. I mean, I like it. Don't we love the Sonic movie? I like the
I
Sonic.
like the Sonic movie. I don't know
You
if I
know.
say I love the Sonic movie.
Mhm.
I like this movie better than the Sonic movie. I'll say that.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Uh,
more true to the
you love
Sonic
the
movie.
Sonic movie. That's
I know I
understood.
really did enjoy it because you know why?
Yeah, I
Because
know.
compared to other video games in the past, it just felt so refreshing to have at least a decent movie, even though they had some flaws and it was kind of like some pacing issues and some things that didn't make any sense, but
Yeah, because
it
it's
still
I
brought back
can't
to life the character, and it feels more like a Sonic Adventure game because Sonic Adventure after the Sonic Adventure games, Sonic's always been running around with humans and everything, so it didn't feel so out of place because he does interact with humans a lot in the
I can't think
Sonic
of
games.
before the Sonic movie. I can't think of a video game movie based on a video game character that's good before the Sonic movie.
I can't think of anything, and
I
I
mean,
think that's why I said,
Wreck-It Ralph is a better movie than both of these movies combined,
mhm.
but it's not based on a regular.
Yeah, it's not
They
based on a
created
real
a
property.
character, you know, they created a character for the movie, but to me, that movie is a good example of. I mean, that movie basically had its Mario and Fix It Felix, and
Mhm.
did had more development and kind of character than regular Mario did. I
Yeah,
felt like, but um,
yeah, because I
not in the
also
sequel though. Sequel is not good.
I was also want to bring up too, like scenes again, like the one of another thing that was forced was the relationship with Donkey Kong and Mario. I felt like I know they started off to be as antagonists to do the fight for or whatever, so that way Princess Peach can win over the Kong army. But I felt like after that fight and Mario saved his life, Donkey Kong, I think the writers were trying to force a relationship between them or like force a rivalry between them because of the previous history in games, and I felt like it didn't work. Like every time Mario was doing something, Donkey Kong comes out of nowhere and says, "Hey man, that's totally stupid, man. That sounds so," and I just felt like, all right, I see what
Yeah,
you're
like when they were
trying to
on,
do,
like,
but
yeah,
it doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel like he
not even
earned.
that. It was just terrible. I think it was one of the worst. He was probably as much as I love Donkey Kong as a
Mhm,
character, but in the movie, I thought he was awful.
mhm,
Like, with Seth Rogen, who I'm
mhm.
not, I'm not a Seth Rogen hater. I
Yeah.
think he's fine and stuff, but hearing him, there was like the scene where like they started the Mario Kart, and he's like, "Is this how you talk to girls or something?" Like when he was trying to talk
Yeah.
to,
Uh,
and I'm like, "Cause you're," and I'm like, What? What?" And then he's like, "Oh, I saved your life. Oh, don't tell anybody." Or just there was just so many.
yeah, they were
They made
forcing it.
him not likable
Yeah,
anyway. They made Donkey Kong not likable, which is crazy.
yeah. I think
And
because they wanted to force that rivalry between them, like, oh, Mario and Donkey Kong hate each other, so that that's their thing. But it just again, like you said, it doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel like it's a natural progression. It just feels like they fought. Mario saved his life, and then now Donkey Kong just hates him.
yeah, right. And then Mario saves his life and then changes everything. Then they're best buds. But
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. Well, overall for me, the movie is
What would you rate it?
7. I give it a 7.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I think it was perfect for what it was, being a Mario Brothers movie.
Hmm.
Um, as a movie, it's not a great. It's not the greatest animated movie. I mean, it doesn't need to be. It
Yeah.
was fine what it was. It showed respect to the franchise. No one wants to. It made $1 billion, so it was good. The sequels will come out. We have a start of a franchise, but yeah, I soured on it the longer I sat on it. Like if we did this
Hmm.
right after I saw it,
Hmm.
I'd be gushing.
Day
Oh
three,
my
yeah.
god! But as it sat with me for a while, I started to be like, oh, okay. Uh,
I
then it
mean,
started to, and
I
then I
think.
saw a different movie, and then it made
Mhm.
me think differently, which
So
is
let me ask you a question because you brought up watching Coco made you
yes.
think about this movie differently. What about Coco made you look at the Mario Brothers movie different?
I don't know if it's because Coco to me is an extraordinary movie.
Hmm.
Um, so they're not really two of the same type of movies, other than they're both animated, right?
Hmm.
But it told it's it what it did was it established a world and it told a story, and it made me feel and think things. Uh, and I was really emotionally hooked. And for me, emotion is big.
Hmm.
I like when the Luigi part gave me emotions, and that's the part I'll probably remember the most from the movie. Actually, is I saw that and I felt something with that, and that's how I like movies. Either the movie makes me laugh or it gives me some kind of whatever.
Hmm.
And it was almost like I don't know why Coco just sat in my mind and made me
Hmm.
think of it. It's almost in a way where it's like Pixar is in a different league when it comes to making good movies and stories.
Hmm.
So I shouldn't really be comparing,
I mean, it's
but
fine.
it
They're both
almost makes
movies.
me it just makes me say, what if Pixar instead of Illumination maybe made the Mario movie?
I mean, late honestly, I'll say this: I'm not crazy about Pixar movies lately.
Yeah, I'm
Like
not. Yeah,
like for example, like Lightyear. I feel like Lightyear,
everybody says that was bad. I didn't see it though.
yeah, I saw some of it, but I just felt like when I think because I actually after watching Barry Brothers movies, I actually went back to watch Toy Story 1.
Uh-huh.
And that movie holds up. It is such a phenomenal movie and so fun. And just seeing Buzz Lightyear's characterization in that movie and then compare it to Lightspeed, I feel like it's
Lightyear.
almost night and day. And I
You
think
said
he
Lightspeed.
Lightspeed, sorry, mom. Lightyear. Excuse me. I am
It's almost getting that time.
I'm on point today. So, but yeah, when I saw Lightyear, yeah, when I look at the buzz from Toy Story 1, I think of a bombastic, like, old school, hero that's going on space adventures, like kind of like a 1960s, 70s type adventure, or maybe earlier than that, like just
Right,
the
right.
way his character is
The
characterized
Space
in the
Ranger
movie.
toy
Space
that
Ranger
is
toy, you know
like
what I mean? Like,
kicks ass
I'm
and
gonna
takes
find
names.
kick asking names, go around, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
when I saw Lightyear and it was like totally different, but it's supposed to be same Buzz Lightyear,
they like
and they
humanize them or something,
and
I
like
guess,
the
right?
marketing around it, or around it, said that this is the movie that supposedly Andy watched to buy his Buzz Lightyear toy. I'm like, what kid would want to watch this movie and then buy a toy after that? Like, I just
Oh,
felt like there was
I
a
didn't
disconnect.
see it, so I don't know if it's
Yeah,
I want
it,
to see it just to see what you're talking about, but
you'll see. It just doesn't feel like Buzz Light, like the Buzz Light you see in part in Toy Story. The way he's characterized in the beginning before he finds out he's a toy. Spoiler alert. you know, before he finds out, he's a toy. He, is totally different than what you get in the movie. I feel like they show shades of it, but it's more tempered, and it's just not. It wasn't. I don't think it was a really, engaging
people
movie.
say it wasn't good. Like I'm some
Yeah,
people
it
say it
wasn't
wasn't
engaging. I
good.
felt like it was very boring. Like it just stays, it's really weird. I don't want to rant on Buzz Lightyear too much.
Right. Well, we're gonna end soon, but
Yeah,
just go ahead. Yeah.
but it just kind of shows how, like, you know, Pixar. I feel like Pixar right now is in the space where I feel like
They're
they're
not on their A game.
they're not in the A game, and I feel like I didn't want, if they had the Mario movie, I don't know what it would be with Pixar. I
I
feel like
bet you if it was with Pixar, it wouldn't have had that stupid music in it, though. I promise you, it
yeah, I
wouldn't
feel
have
they
that.
probably not. In fact, honestly, I don't even mind if they had original music. Like I'm
I
watching
think it
Toy
would have had
Story,
original. I
and
think they would have had original
Toy
music.
Story had original music, and it fits perfectly. Like, you got a friend in me and stuff like that. And to me, even though that movie looks old, the atmosphere and everything makes it feel like it's timeless.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like I
it
can
is
watch that
timeless.
30 years from now and, be like, oh, this timeless movie. Nothing about it really anchors it. Some parts of
No,
maybe
yeah,
cool, but nothing anchors it into, like, a certain time period. Whereas
I
even though Mario movie use different music, it just feels like such a cliche thing. Like,
it's an illumination. They have robots that know how to check off a certain thing that will meet everybody's expectation. They like market tested, and that's why that shit ends up in those kind of movies.
can I tell you something? This
What?
reminds me of a Simpsons episode where they showed a fake trailer for like a soccer mummy. It was just called soccer mummy. I don't know if you remember this episode.
Nah, but go
But they
ahead.
had, like, it was in the movie starring Ed O'Neill from Married with Children
Yeah,
as the soccer mummy, and they were playing like some kind of old school music from the 90s, like I
yeah.
Feel Good or something like that. It was something cheesy.
But it's like,
But that shows you the prototypical commercial where
yeah,
for a
but
movie like.
because most people will hear that and be like, "Oh, I know this song," and oh god,
Yeah.
and it's not kind of a thought provoking moment where everything, at least watching like a Coco or something,
Mhm.
is done for a reason. Obviously, that movie focuses heavily on music for certain
Mhm.
reasons, but it's just that when I saw that, I said, "Wow." You always want to kind of leave. It's always like you go to see a movie and you're like, whatever. Then sometimes you see movies and you just like, wow.
Yeah.
And that's a movie I was like, wow. And then when I saw Mario, I was like, damn, I wish this was a movie I could be wow about. But I know that's not the goal of
Yeah,
it.
that's what they go. Yeah.
The goal is to make billions of dollars, and that's what they did.
The last, I'll say the last 3D movie that I saw that kind of, gave me that feeling, which I was so actually surprised, was Encanto.
Okay,
Uh,
I haven't seen that yet. You told me about that, but I will go
yeah,
see.
I saw Encanto, and I wasn't really, I'm not really into those, movies like that.
Right.
Girls looking at it and everything, and then, I was watching it, and I really got into, like, the music, the characters, felt realized, had a decent story, and I feel
This,
like, you
some
know,
Disney movies,
yeah, Disney. I think Disney is probably doing
Disney
better than Pixar.
without Pixar, some of their movies have like because like some of the latest from Pixar, Soul was good, but not great.
I didn't,
Um,
Soul could have been better. I felt like
Soul could have been better
Soul focused too much. I like Soul in the beginning when it was just about
when he
the
wasn't a
main character's
spirit.
life. He was a spirit, but then I feel like, they do this, especially with black CG characters. They turn them into something for half the movie, and they're not they're never there. Like it happened with Princess and the Frog.
And
I don't want to rant, but Princess and the Frog, where she's a frog for half the movie. Will Smith in that movie, Birds and Spies in Disguise. He's a
uh,
bird for most of the movie.
but
Now
that wasn't Disney though, was it?
that was DreamWorks.
Uh,
And then
wait, um, but real quick, just we're talking all these good. I know I talked Puss in Boots, right?
Yeah, you spoke to me about. It. Still have to see it. Last
Did
Wish.
I talk of it on a podcast?
No, we talked about it on the podcast.
Oh man, that's such a good talk. That's such a that's like a 9 out of 10. That's how good
Mhm.
that
I
is.
heard that too. One of my boys was telling me
Go see it. Just go see it,
he,
and
he
it's
was
it's
like, "Yo,
fantastic.
I don't watch these 3D movies, but yo, this movie was so good.
It was
Yo, I
so
had to."
good.
Yeah, I heard.
It was so
I'm gonna
good.
watch it.
Toys. I just want to talk. You mentioned Toy Story, and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I love Toy Story. One, two, I saw, and everybody says it's good, but I didn't like it as much.
Yeah,
And three, I thought was fantastic. Toy Story 3 to me is the
I
best
don't really
one.
remember much about three. I seen it in theaters, but it's so long ago.
Oh,
I haven't seen it
you
in
Toy
like.
Story 3 to me. And then Toy Story 4 was like, oh, why did they even make that? That it wasn't bad. It was
Mhm.
fine, but it was almost like 3 was the
Pointless.
perfect ending to the whole damn thing. And then they just
Mhm.
made a 4. It just felt off. Like their sequels are not really very good. The Incredibles
Mhm.
2 wasn't that great
I feel like
compared to how
sometimes.
great the first one was.
Mhm.
Incredibles 1 was
Yeah.
fan fucking tastic. Incredibles 2,
I think they need to go back to the old school where just like
just
I mean
make a new movie.
make a
Just
new
make a new
movie.
movie.
Like sometimes it's just you have a movie, let it be, and that's it. I
Yeah.
feel like so these studios are so into like sequels and doing
Well,
this
they don't
and
want to take big risks. That's the thing.
yeah, but
Taking
then
risks costs too much money.
mhm.
But anyway, all right. I think we should
Yeah. So I mean, I
probably.
think overall, I think we were both excited about the Mario movie. I'm
It's good.
actually,
If you
I,
like Mario, go see it.
I
If you
mean,
don't like Mario,
what do you
don't
think
go
about the
see it.
end sequences? Like the first one was a gag sequence, but the very very last sequence,
What was the very, very last sequence?
like after all the credits roll,
I don't think I stayed.
you didn't stay.
What I miss?
Wow. Okay.
What I miss? Just
Guys,
tell
it's
me,
the
because
end of the podcast. He missed it. We can't talk about
no,
it.
just hit
All
spoilers
right.
and just tell me.
They just showed Yoshi egg. You know that area where they got sucked the first time they got sucked into um the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
So in the ending, they just kind of pan down to a beating Yoshi egg, and then when the screen turns black, you hear Yoshi.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be another Mario movie. Surprise!
Yeah, with Yoshi's this time.
Yes, they always make the second
Super Mario,
movie.
not Super Mario 2, Super Mario World
Okay, with Yoshi.
with
Yay.
Yoshi. Yeah. And then
Yoshi.
guest star. Who's gonna guest star? Harry Styles as Yoshi.
Even though to me it's like not a big deal because we saw Yoshi's in the movie. I know they didn't do
Yeah,
much,
they
but
should have like held back on
if
that.
they
I
didn't
don't.
show any Yoshi and then you said that, I would have been like, "Oh shit, I missed something." But I'm like, we
Mhm.
already seen Yoshi's in there.
We know they
They're
exist.
running like they were in the Super Mario Smash Brothers trailer. So like,
I
what?
feel like they put it. The reason why they put that is because they're probably like, well, if it's a kids movie, these kids probably won't be staying too
Well,
long.
that and it was a big thing in the trailer. Like they showed Yoshi's in the trailer, so you're like, "Oh shit, there's Yoshi's in the movie."
Hmm.
Really, there aren't, but there are for like a second. Blink,
Who
you'll
do you
miss
think is gonna
them.
play Yoshi's voice in the sequel?
That doesn't. No one cares. Auto tune it. I don't know.
Pierce Bronson as Yoshi.
No, that's it's got to be someone. Probably gonna be a female.
Maybe let me see. Taylor
Oh,
Swift as Yoshi.
yeah, that's I don't know. Is she popular? Yeah, Taylor Swift
Hmm.
is Yoshi. There you
And
go.
maybe Chloe Bailey as Yoshi.
Haley Steinfeld. She's popular. Let's
Yeah,
throw
that's
her.
true. Yeah, you'll see in 4 years or 5 years when this movie comes out. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks. This movie's gonna take a long time to come out.
Maybe not as long as you think.
It depends.
I think okay, Nintendo's a company. They said, "Holy shit, we just made $1 billion." Guys, let's get on to this
Listen,
now.
Miyamoto needs to finesse the script. He has to make sure
Uh
that it's perfect. You
guys,
know,
$1 billion.
listen, art has to wait. I'll wait another.
Guys,
I'll wait another
billion
10.
dollars.
I'll wait another 10 years for another Mario movie if I was Nintendo.
No smart company would do that. Nintendo's not perfect, but we know one thing. They are greedy. They're a greedy company. Okay. They want their money. They don't lower the prices for their games like ever.
So
This is
let
a
me ask you a
company.
question. So I know we're gonna go off topic. We have to end soon, but
Yes,
this makes
it's
me
fine.
think now. What about Pokemon movie? I'm surprised. Like
I
now
mean,
that Mario did so well, do you think another
what?
Pokemon movie would do good as well?
I don't know. They made a lot of Pokemon movies, right?
Right.
Pokemon, I think, has a different stigma to it
Mm-hmm.
because Pokemon's kind of been in and out of theaters. You had the Pokemon
First
Detective
movie.
Pikachu, you had
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu, you had all these other things. Pokemon is not gonna get the same kind of adults in the movie theaters like a
Mm-hmm.
Mario movie would, or a Zelda, or even you'll
But
get the kids,
mhm.
but you Pokemon is like you get all the Poke fans, and there's a lot of those guys, but I don't think it has the same pull.
But you know,
Even
it's
if you
crazy.
make even if you
Pokemon's
make it
almost
about
20
the
years old at this point, like
yeah
25, 20 years old at this
yeah
point. And you know, a lot of the people who played it as kids are now grown adults. So
I don't think I think the games speak for themselves, but I don't know like since especially since the movies first of all they kind of they released a lot of Pokemon movies. It's been like a
mhm.
lot of them. They if they
Maybe
come
like
to
3 or 4 in the
they're
theaters.
animated. They're animated so they come to theaters for a short time or they, cuz the anime is not really a theater thing
Yeah.
here. It's not
Hmm.
big here. Uh so I don't know. They tried the live action thing. I don't even know how Detective
I
Pikachu
don't think it
did.
didn't do that good because if
It
it did
probably
good,
didn't.
you would know.
So I think that it was probably enough to let Nintendo know. Let's just let's throw our other video games in there instead
Hmm.
of because I think when you use the word Pokemon, it's gonna like I'm never gonna go see a Pokemon movie.
Really?
So no, Detective Pikachu. I kind of was curious, but not curious enough.
Yeah.
I saw Pokemon the first movie in movie theaters, and I was like 10, and they gave me that like rare Mew card,
No, we
and
were a
I
little
saw the
older than that.
movie, and even as a kid, I thought that movie sucked.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
I did not
I,
like that.
I'll never forget when I saw Pokemon the first movie. I had to wait till it came on pay per view. If you remember that pay per view, I had to wait for it got pay per view. I begged my parents to buy it. I'm like, Mom, Dad, whoever I spoke to, I need to watch
How
Pokemon
come
the
you didn't
first.
go to the movies? You didn't have no friends.
We
You didn't go-
no, we my family didn't go movies like that.
We waited on the line. I remember I went with Josh and like Ray,
Hmm.
and we waited online, long ass line
Hmm.
to go see it. Movie theater with a million kids, and it was like, oh, this movie is like it's just like an episodes of Pokemon, like a really long
Hmm.
episode that's better animated, but sucked. It
Hmm.
sucked. The regular Saturday morning episodes were better than that.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and then I remember just leaving the movie. Like, I mean, not leaving the movie. I was at home watching it, but I remember watching the movie at the end. I'm just like, huh,
This
it
is
wasn't that good.
this is not
And
that
and
good.
when you feel like that as a kid, that means you know
Yeah,
it's not good. Any
yeah.
movie like just like Batman and Robin. I watched the movie. I'm like, it's
There's
not that
nothing
good a
like
movie.
being disappointed in movies as a kid.
As a kid, yeah, that's the
Doesn't
worst.
happen often, but it
Yeah,
does happen sometimes.
like
Yeah.
it's one thing to go back as an adult to look at something and be like, well, this is really crappy as a kid, but I enjoyed it, but it's really crappy. You know, then as a kid, you'd be like, yeah, this is pretty crappy.
Like you're never gonna watch that movie again.
Yeah, and I remember watching Pokemon the first movie. I was just like, wow, this is really bad. Like just the whole thing at the end where they're fighting and you
They
hear that
remade
song.
that movie too. That's the craziest thing.
Did
They
they?
remade it in 3D. Yeah,
Oh, it was
they
on Netflix,
remade.
right?
I don't know. It was probably on Netflix, but they remade that fucking movie in 3D
Hmm. Like, yo,
for
how can we suck at
uh,
them the second time?
I don't know. It's for a new generation, and it's
Yeah,
easier to make 3D than it is animated. So they
yeah. So,
probably didn't take probably wasn't that hard to make. So,
mhm.
but whatever.
All right. So,
Um,
Mario movie, go watch it. You know, give Nintendo all your money. They had $1 million. Let's make this the best-selling movie of all time. So we can get more. And yeah, that's it. Oh,
all right. Yeah, go see the movie. It's okay.
or
It's good.
Nintendo.
It's fine.
Nintendo needs your money. All right.
If you're a gamer, if you're not, don't go see it.
I would
It
say just
won't.
see out of curiosity, you know, see what people are talking about, and then maybe
I would
it
say
may influence
don't
you to
even.
play a game.
Nah, I don't think it's gonna do that. I think you got to be a gamer or a child. You can go see the movie. If you're neither that, if you're not big on Mario, if you're not, maybe you're a
If
Master
you're not
Chief
big
kind
on
of guy.
Mario, you're not a human being.
Uh, no, there's about a gajillion human beings that probably do
No, you're
not
not.
care.
No.
They don't care
You need
about
to care about
Mario
Mario. How could you not like Mario? Come on, I have Mario's hat. Mario's right
because
here.
everybody Mario's stupid kid game. There's people like that.
This Mario is going to be your
Ask a
friend.
lot of people like, people like they might have liked Mario as a kid, and now as an adult, they're like, oh, Mario, like who cares? Well,
Mhm.
I'm not 10 anymore.
Yo, listen, they dropped that song, the Mario Brothers song from the TV show. Speaking of Easter eggs, that song is pretty legit.
Okay, the best Easter egg though in that song.
Donkey Kong rap,
No,
DK,
no, it's in that
Donkey
song in the
Kong.
beginning when they're doing the Mario Brothers commercial, right? And the will come out and service you, and I'm looking at all the towns that they serve. And what town do I see?
Listen,
Hollis, Queens. Let's go. I saw that and I was like, we made it. We
listen.
made it. We're in the Mario movie.
You know
What I
that.
don't.
You
What
know
else do
that.
I need? What else?
That reminded me of watching.
Hollis.
That reminded me of watching when I saw Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man movie in theaters in 2002, and I remember there's a scene where they showed a hospital where Aunt May was at,
Yeah.
and they showed Queens General Hospital, the hospital I always used to go to. I think I was actually born in that hospital, so they
Mhm.
showed like the end of it, like one of the old buildings, and it's not even there anymore. But when I saw that, I was so happy as a kid because I'm like, I recognize that place. I know that place. I've been there before, and I was so hyped. So yeah,
Hey,
I look forward to it.
Hollis.
Yeah.
They out of all little towns to put on a in the Nintendo, Hollis. You tell
But
people Hollis, Queens, nobody knows where
no, no,
Hollis.
no, no. The people know who Hollis is because Run DMC reps Hollis
I guess
hard,
so. Okay,
and
okay,
they talk
okay.
about
But if you don't know Run,
Christmas in Hollis.
okay. But there's so many other New York places that I feel like could be represented in a Mario movie.
All right, what
You
other place
know,
in Queens?
he's in Brooklyn, right? Mostly they could have just did Brooklyn, right? They could
Yeah,
have said we
but he
service
said,
you in
but
Brooklyn.
he said Brooklyn and Queens.
Okay. I don't know.
So,
I just feel like
so then what other time? What
Flushing, Queens, or something. I don't know.
Flushing?
Flush anything else. There's to me is a lot. Hollis, Jamaica, Queens. I would have felt maybe Hollis,
I think Jamaica.
Hollis,
Jamaica Queens would have been too confusing for the other audiences who are not familiar.
Hollis.
Jamaica Queens would have been too confusing for audiences not familiar with New York because they were like, Jamaica? Is
Oh,
it
and Hollis.
Jamaica?
If you're not familiar with New York and you don't listen to Run DMC, Hollis means nothing to you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better to be nothing than confuse it with something else. Where you
Nah,
think
I think
Jamaica.
they did a roulette and picked Hollis, and we just made we got lucky. That's how I
Mm,
feel. We got lucky.
no, they watched the ABG cast and they're
Oh,
like, listen, we want to make sure we represent.
Hollis. I'm in Hollis right now. This is what,
Mhm. Listen, they
not
know
in
you're in Hollis.
Laurelton. I'm not where you are. I'm in
Mhm.
Hollis. I'm not
Listen.
Hollis, and it's in the Mario movie. You know what? 10 out of 10. That's it. End of story.
That's it. All right.
It's
They
the
won him
best
over.
movie ever made. Okay. Hollis Queens is in
You
it.
heard it first. 10 out of 10 for being in
Best movie ever.
Hollis. Just for having 1 second scene with Hollis.
Yeah,
It makes sense. I'm not mad at it.
we famous now.
Yeah, that's it. You're about to have so many
Billy,
celebrities.
you know, whoever before
Listen,
that movie, no
Poppy's
one
about to
cared about
smash.
Hollis. Now we part of $1 billion franchise.
The next Ninja Turtles movie will take place in Hollis. You see
Might
them
as
walking around
well. I
Hollis.
mean, we was good enough for the Mario movie.
Yeah.
You've seen those Ninja Turtle movies looking like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse now. Like
Yeah.
craziness.
I
We'll
like
get to
it.
that. I'm not a fan of it.
We'll talk about
Leave
that
it.
later.
Yeah.
That's
I did not like that trailer. It might be a good movie, but I don't
I'll tell
know.
you something afterwards when
It
we're
just
done. But
keeps biting off of
thank
stuff.
you
But
guys
go
so much
ahead.
for listening, and please like, subscribe, and please share. Help
30
us out
minutes, my
tremendously.
ass. Okay,
30
I'm
minutes.
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah,
30 minutes. What time is it, bro? What are we running at?
bro, it's 10 o'clock.
I gotta go to bed. All right. Good night,
Yeah.
everybody. Let me stop it right